Hello and welcome to A Place to Call Home. It's our weekly program where we talk about just about everything. My very special guest live in studio with me today is my friend Sherry Broussard. We are here to talk about the upcoming Black History Month events. And Sherry, welcome to the program.
Thank you for inviting me, Portia. It's always a pleasure.
You've been doing this program, ma'am, for years and years and years.
Since the 70s, yes.
Right here in the Lafayette community for 2017. It is no different. Our month of February is Black History Month, and
Yes,
we will
ma'am.
be celebrating as big as ever.
Great.
And please tell me when this program initially started, years ago.
For me, doing them, I'm a former school teacher and former school librarian and former academic librarian and former educator. It's a lot of formers. Huh?
Okay.
But everywhere I've ever worked, every church I've ever been in, I've done programs for organizations. My favorite one, I got to do one in the federal courthouse for Judge Height. Believe it or
Really?
not. Yes. So I've been doing them a long, long time. And the importance of them, yes, it's people look at it, well, it's entertaining. It is, but it's also to encourage, to inspire, and to educate.
And it's our history.
It's our history, and who better to tell it than us?
Right.
We will tell it and hopefully do the best job we can to tell it correctly.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
So we are kicking off with the, you got a special little something going on this time.
Yes, in 2015, developed the African American Authors Roundtable. That is a very important event, very long day event for me. It's at the Acadiana Mall on Saturday, February the 11th, from 10 a.m. in the morning until 8 p.m. that night. We will welcome authors. Some of them are local authors, but we'll be welcoming authors from New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Alexandria, Morgan City, Lafayette.
And I can go to this event and get all these wonderful books?
You can get a free gift. You
Oh.
can get, if you come by and meet and greet my authors, we give you a gift. Yes,
Wonderful.
ma'am. Everybody's welcome, and I hope the community will come out and talk to them and learn why they wrote their books. And some of the stories are just fascinating. You will leave inspired, I promise.
Well, I want you to know, ma'am, that I am a voracious reader. I read something every day, and normally I am reading a Black author.
That's wonderful, because our history, as you know, has always been hidden. I'd like to plug a movie, and no, I'm not getting anything for it, but
Hidden
I'm going to plug it,
Figures.
yes.
Read the book, ma'am.
I was gifted with it a week ago by my daughter, so yes, can't wait to read it. Too busy right now, but can't wait to sit down and read it. But
I read the book. I hear the movie is fantastic.
it's excellent, and our history is hidden, because who knew that at least these women, without giving it away, because some people haven't seen it, worked for NASA and did such an outstanding, fantastic, life-saving jobs for those astronauts.
And I told that story to some children recently. I said, do you know that they had women, African American women, doing the jobs at NASA before computers?
They called them the human computers.
The
and
human
they were
computers.
extreme mathematicians.
Right.
Not so much my stronghold, but hey, it's God gives us different gifts, but they were super fantastic, just to see the formulas go. Well,
And they said, Miss Portia, was there a day ever before computers? And I said, son, yes, there were days before we had computers. So
Yes.
we're going to kick off the Black History Month celebration with the AAA, African American Authors Roundtable.
Yes.
That's going to be at the Acadiana Mall, and that's going to be happening February 11th from 10 in the morning until 8 p.m. That night. And your chance to meet some wonderful, great authors and hear their stories and why they wrote their books and how they'll make their books available and all of that.
I must plug one young man from New Orleans. He's a child author, and his name is Zelvin Collins. His mother is Maggie Collins. They will be here from New Orleans.
Really?
Yes. I think
And what's his
Zelvin
book
is
about?
14 or 15 years old. Not sure. It's a fiction book, but the two of them thought, she helped him kind of co-write it. And he's all excited because he got published.
Wonderful.
He will be there. Mr. Roger Raymond will be there. Let me see who else I have. Janera Kylie Smith from North Louisiana will be there. So we have a variety.
And we have some local authors.
We have local authors. Miss Teresa Singleton will be there. Miss Lindsay, what's Lindsay? Haley will be there. So yes, it's wonderful to, and you can come out and see how they did or how we did it. I am also a local author, so
Really?
you'll be surrounded by authors on that day.
So tell us about your book.
Well, mine, everybody knows about most of them, but the one that currently is not out yet is called The Heritage Train.
Mm-hmm.
And in this particular story, it's the story of the young lady Leah from the birthday box. She takes a trip with her grandmother on a train, and her grandmother educates her about all the things, all of the documented and patent numbers that black people created for the train to work as well as it does, even hooking the cars together. So it's going to be a wonderful children's book that I hope will inspire and encourage.
I have to read that book because as a little girl, I was told that the coupler for the train
Yes.
was attributed to one of my family members.
Oh my goodness, how awesome is that?
And I,
And I want to include the patent number. So this one's going to be hard to place in a library because the information, even though it's a children's book, and even though it's a easy reader, maybe sort of book, but the information in it is historical and
Really?
factual. Yes.
and I just interviewed last week one of your, the story you told on Big Papa.
Mr. Joseph Prejean will
Right.
be there. He's one of the local authors that will be at the AA Roundtable, the AAA Roundtable.
Wonderful.
Yes, that's the story called One More Mountain,
Right.
and I was a ghostwriter for that, but Joseph told me that story, and I wrote it for him, so yes.
And there are a lot of stories. I mean, you know.
Did you read that one?
Yes, I sure did. I read the book and I enjoyed the book, and I just want to say there's a story in everybody.
That's true, we all have. Whether or not we share them or tell them, it's important, because someone can learn from your life.
Right, and your story or your family's
That's
story.
right, that's right. Just like I just learned from you about the coupler, that traces back to your family. So this picture book will be more factual than fiction, so.
Well, good. And then we go on to have the Black History program the very next day.
Yes, the theme is ordinary people, extraordinary lives. The neighbors you see every day, the postman, the person that's over there. If you look at Joseph Prejean, meaning Joe, you would not believe from which he came to be a owner of a gym. It's the only gym in the Carencro area, and to have a consulting firm. So, I mean, he took the hard knocks in his life and transformed them literally. You know the old saying, if you get lemons, make lemonade?
That's
Well,
right.
he made a lemon pie too, so he did very well. He and his wife, Juanita, they're business owners in
So
this community.
tell me about the next day. It's going to be full too at the Clifton Chenier Center.
Yes, it's very full. We have a panelist group that includes Joseph Prejean, that will include Tracy and Michael Landry of TM College Preparatory School. They're the young people who are just magnificently marvelous, because they take these young people and teach them and train them, and when they take these standardized tests, they make the highest scores on the test. There are 7th and 8th graders there who've already passed the ACT. There are other students who have made the top score on the SAT test. So it's an amazing journey, and you need to come out and hear their story and why they do what they do to help so much in education, in the education of our children.
All right, and I know.
Then I have Dr. Darby. I don't want to leave him out. Dr. Darby is probably one of the youngest PhD doctors that we have in our area. He's from right here in Lafayette. Now, he works in Baton Rouge, where I think he's head of a curriculum and development department, but he's a well-versed young man who had a tough journey but earned his PhD.
Wonderful.
So these people will be there. We will have PJ's Dance School, because you know, as black people, we're kind of born with rhythm. So I'd be remiss if I didn't include a group to express how they feel about our history through dance. We will have Miss Geraldine Broussard, who will be there.
From
with
Holy
her
Rosary?
From Holy Family
Holy
School.
Family.
And the Jubilant Choir. They will be singing. And there may be one or two other surprise guests. I don't want to talk about that one. You got to come out to the program because this one is it's great, but it has a little twist to it. So you don't
Okay.
want to miss that, but I can't give it away because this young lady doesn't want me to. But
Okay.
anyway, please come out on Sunday afternoon. Let me tell you, the Super Bowl will be over. Mardi Gras will not have happened. So what are you going to do with that Sunday afternoon? You're going to come out and learn your history. You're going to come out and appreciate us. It is open to the entire community. A lot of people think Black History Month is just a Black thing. We welcome all to come in and learn our history from us. So you are very well invited.
And you know what? I encourage you year after year to
You do.
continue with your program. You know, Lafayette has some wonderful history.
Excellent history. You know I wrote the book.
Oh, my.
So I know a lot of them. And we have living history.
Living history.
I've so far written 2 books on it. One of them is called Images of African Americans in Lafayette in Southwest Louisiana, and it includes
Tell me a little
educators.
bit.
A little bit about that book. That book includes some of our Black churches that are over 100 years old that are still open and functioning. The history is just so deep, and I wish to God I could do more with it because it's so excellent. A lot of these churches served as schools when there were no schools for Black people to attend. So the church was the school. Some of them served as hospitals. It was an amazing research. Some of them even went on to serve as shelters during the 1927 flood that hit Louisiana and when Audrey, the hurricane, hit. So there's a marvelous history there. And there's a marvelous history there. And that part is in there. It includes outstanding educators like Dr. Carlton James and others, Miss Juanita Tebow, who's still teaching. Believe it or not, I won't tell her age, but believe me, Miss Tebow it's in her blood. She's not going to stop teaching. And there are a lot of others who are highlighted in there. We've lost some who have been included.
Wonderful
there's a picture
history
of John
about this.
Neasy. Yes.
This area.
Yeah,
I was
Darcy
so
Foreman.
excited to hear that the Holy Rosary Institute received the grant money.
So did I, Portia. I'm so glad you brought that up because I need to say something that people may not know. Holy Rosary was at one time in American history the only boarding school for children of color, Negro children, or Black children, that there was in not only Lafayette, Louisiana, but in the United States of America. That's why it was the only one of its kind.
Really?
Yes, they boarded. It was a boarding school at one time. And it was the only one that boarded children of color. And it was located right here in Louisiana, in Lafayette, on Carmel Avenue.
Right. And I was so glad to hear this week that they received the grant money
Yes.
that will initially start. There's a lot of more money that needs to be raised, but that will initially start the project.
Oh, yes.
I
It's
was-
worthwhile, and it's state recognized. The grounds are historically preserved in the buildings, so they can fall down, but you can't tear them down. So hopefully they're going to be able to restore as many as they can with almost $500,000. I know that's not the entire cost, but it's a good jump start. So, and I know the young lady personally who kind of spearheaded that grant, Dr. Shania Morrison Nelson. So, yes.
And I was fortunate enough to have my granddaughter visiting for Christmas
Okay.
from Texas.
Mhm.
And I live off of that road, and we would pass by that school, and she'd say, "Grandmother," she asked me the question, "What is that? What is that building? What is that old building, Grandmother?" And I told her
Very
the
historical
story
one, yes.
of Holy Rosary.
That produced doctors and lawyers, teachers, politicians, you name it, it produced it. So, and some of these people who graduated there, some of them were boarders a long time ago. Most of those are probably up in age by now, but the later students, those who were there in later years, live across the United States and work in all kind of important jobs. So Rosary is definitely a treasure that's in our community that is worth preserving.
And we are here, if you're just joining us, this is Sherry Broussard. We're talking about the upcoming Black History Month programs that will take place, and We've talked about the AAA, and that is the African American Authors Roundtable, February 11th at the Acadiana Mall. Now, it's going to be center court,
Near the food court.
near the food court.
Mhm. With 3 or 4 tables, and we sit there, and they love meeting you. There's lots of hugging. You know, we're people of warmth, so we love hugging.
And we can get some autographed copies.
You can if you choose to buy a book, but you do not have to buy a book to attend the Authors Roundtable. Just come by and say hello to the authors. And
Right.
welcome them to Southwest Louisiana, to Lafayette.
Well, looking for a big, big turnout for that particular event. And then the following day
Yes.
at the Clifton Chenier Center, been going on for many, many years here
Since the 70s.
in the community, since the 70s.
Yes.
Been having the Black History program, and I am often in churches during that season. And we are invited to many, many areas to tell the stories. And, it's kind of something, one of my friends said, doesn't that get redundant for you? And I said, never.
It's so much to
Never.
learn. We don't know our history. So much of it is hidden, going back to something we said earlier. So it's never redundant because it's so rich.
And I
it's
tell
hidden
children
from us.
and young people all the time, listen to the stories of your elders.
Yes.
Listen to those stories.
And
'Cause
record them if you can.
the
Yes.
best lessons of my life were learned at the feet of my elders.
So was mine.
And my
So were
grandmother was a midwife.
Yes, and my great-grandmother was a midwife.
My grandmother was a midwife in our neighborhood, and she used to sit with me and had all these recordings in an old Bible
Yes.
of the children that she birthed.
delivered. Oh, my goodness.
And she had 68 grandchildren,
Wow.
but I think that I was the one who paid attention and listened the most.
And you were the sponge. You absorbed it. And look what you do now in the community. 'Cause
Well,
don't let Miss Portia fool you. She's very good at what she does, and she speaks well. And I enjoyed having her on the program. I think it was last year.
yeah.
When the thing was the reason why we sing. So that was another very nurturing program. And she can validate that there was not even standing room at that program. It
And
was
it's
so
going to be
full.
great again this year as well.
We're looking forward to it.
But and we had one of my favorites, Jennifer Miller was there, and
Yeah.
that was one of my favorites.
It was a packed house. So
But
come on.
going to be a
and
great, great
inspired.
program. We've got music, we've got dance, and we've got history
Yes, ma'am.
for the Black History Month program.
We have to celebrate ourselves, and we're going to do that. And I'm not being political, but this is the last day in office for President Barack H. Obama, and how you feel about it. That was one of the most historical things to have lived through. Some young people who were born, well, I remember the president who was president when I was born, but I won't share that. But some young people will always remember that they were born during the time when there was an African-American president, and it doesn't get better historically for black people than that.
Represented us well.
He
and
did. And
I am so proud of him and
so
his
am
family,
I. So am I.
and all the best.
He
to
needs
him.
a rest, and I hope he gets some well-deserved rest. And we just have to keep praying for our nation as a whole as to where it's going to go. I'm a Christian first and foremost, so I believe that we
And
need
we're
to
claiming
pray.
victory, we
Yeah,
are claiming
I
victory.
mean, it's
As
not
this
the end
new-
of the world. We've come through slavery.
Yeah.
Our ancestors, my God, and so we've had nothing that tough to face, so we will be just fine. And again, I want to thank you for inviting me. As always, it's a delight to share stories.
We
and
are
talk
a
with you.
resilient people, and we will come through this
We
as
will
well.
survive, yes, we will.
So it is good to know that the program is going on and on and on. And we want to invite and encourage parents to bring your children, bring the young
Please.
people,
Please.
and young people in this community. Please attend events like this. You never know
You never know who you
what
meet
you
and who
will
inspire.
learn and
That's right.
how you will be inspired
That's right.
to tell your own stories someday, because we have got to See, Sherry and I are getting old. We got to keep this
Listen,
going, though.
Portia's getting old. Sherry's getting better.
Oh. But anyway, we've got to pass the torch on one
Oh,
day.
yes, I'm
and
thinking of that.
somebody else is going to have to take up tasks like this.
That's right.
And I
hope they will.
And I know they will. I
I'm
know
hoping
they will.
Yeah,
But,
been doing them a long time.
a long, long
Programs
time.
A long time.
And it's good to know that you're still doing them, ma'am.
Yes, I am. Yes, even from, whenever I'm asked, I speak, I go to schools, I go wherever I can, and just to keep our history alive. It's up to us. And when I meet people and they say, well, I didn't know this, that, and other, and I said, baby, you need to read a book.
Right.
Choose a book and read it. Learn something that you didn't know about our history. From the Bible on, we're included.
Right.
So look for that and please learn it.
And it's so wonderful that it's still going on right here in our community that is rich with a history
And culture.
itself.
That's right. We have our
Rich
own culture.
in history. From the French and the African Americans that settled here. So rich in history.
Yes, and from the slaves that contributed, even though they came not of free will, still
Right.
became, brought their cultural values, and we still use them
Right.
to this very day, from the foods that we eat to the music that they play.
Right.
Which is why I wrote Louisiana Zydeco, to retain that history.
Tell me
We
about
believe-
that one a little bit. I got about 2 minutes.
Okay, Louisiana Zydeco tells a story really of these black men, and it was predominantly men, but there are women who are part of this
Oh, yeah.
genre of music now. And they played and they entertained and they did weddings and they would do, people don't know this, but a lot of them did sing gospel music and some of them play music in church. I was recently saw Donna Angel, who plays the drums at St. Anthony's, doing the mass there. So yes, it's a rich history that we have to preserve and protect so that we don't lose it. There was a merging, I guess, of sort of sharing of the music, but what I wrote about is the heart of their music from what they told me in personal interviews. So the Louisiana Zydeco book is about preserving the heritage.
Where
of
can we
these
get some of these books, Sherry?
Well, they're everywhere, especially those two. Barnes and Noble, in particular, has a whole section on just Arcadia books, and I have two that's included there. Walgreens usually carry them. They are downtown at Tesh Drugs. UL's campus, the Art Museum, carry them. So they're just about everywhere, but you can always, techie people, listen up. You can log on to Amazon.com, and you can go to different sites and you can purchase these books. Any books, not just mine, but any author that have pretty much written anything. Amazon, of course, is about $1, so they have them. So they're easy to find, Miss Portia. They
Okay.
are very easy to find.
Well, keep doing what you're doing, my friend. We'll go over the events one more time.
Okay.
We have the African American Authors Roundtable, and these are African Americans who've written wonderful, wonderful books. You'll get a chance to meet them Saturday, February 11th, from 10 a.m., that's a long day, to 8
For
p.m.
me.
that night, Center
Yes.
Court at the Acadiana Mall. And we also will have the Black History Month program Sunday, February 12th at 3 p.m.
Yes.
at the Clifton Chenier Center. We encourage you to attend the event. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful celebration of our history, of our culture, and you can learn something.
Yes, it's
When I
Black
get a
history
chance,
immersion, like French immersion.
when I get a chance to just fill my old head with some new
Stop
knowledge,
that. You're senior head. We're
yeah,
seniors. Cut that
with
old
some
stuff
new
out.
knowledge,
Right.
then I am grateful for the day. Like I told you, I read something every day.
That's how we learn, Portia. So
My
do I.
car right now is a bookstore. It's full of books. I can't have passengers because I have so many books.
But you have to have time to sit, relax, enjoy it, read, and absorb it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, I read one every day. Every
Wow,
day.
that's amazing.
At least a book a
I'm
week.
impressed.
At least a book a week. All my bosses on my job can tell you, every time you see her,
She's
got-
reading.
she's got a book
That's good.
in her
We're hoping to
hand.
encourage children And hopefully you will invite me back so I can tell you about a fantastic reading program that I'm doing, a festival of sort in July.
Really?
Yes.
Well,
ma'am. It's
invite
all
me.
about
I
the
read
reading.
well too.
It's okay. We're gonna talk about that.
All
Yes.
right. Miss Sherry Broussard, that's going to wrap up our program for this week, and we'll be back again next week with another show and something else. In the meantime, I'm Portia Evans for A Place to Call Home. You be blessed,
Please be blessed.
and bye-bye.